What's going on, guys? G2 here. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're watching this video, you've got an issue with your AR. Whether you're undergassed, whether you're overgassed, failure to feed, fire, extract, and eject. Something's going on. In this video and in the subsequent videos, we're going to go over every single one of those issues, how to recognize the symptoms, how to diagnose it, and how to fix it. As with all the videos we do, make sure that whenever you're working with a firearm, especially one that is suffering from malfunction, the first step is always ensuring that you are clearing the rifle safely. Let's go into the video. So let's go ahead, let's have some fun. Fire a couple downrange here. All right, so we had ourselves a failure to fire. Here's what you do if you have a situation with a failure to fire. Typically eject the magazine, right? We're gonna look at the charging handle here. We can see it's closed, right? So we're gonna pull on the charging handle and it's not going anywhere. So what do? Couple options depending on how jammed in this is. The easiest option that I like to use is we'll just hold this charging handle and give it a little slam down, and that will release the round. Now inspect the round, take a look as to why that may have happened. If you don't know, we're gonna go over this in a second as to issues that may have arose because of this. Let's just go on and see if some of these other rounds do the same. Mother. So it also looks like, if you guys can see that, we're getting light primer strikes as well. We're gonna give it one more shot here. And if it doesn't go, we're gonna take it back to the bench, take it apart, and see what's happening. Okay, so not quite sure what was going on. We've got our rounds here that did not fire. We're getting light primer strikes. I'm gonna put these two in and see if they go. Probably have to take a look at the bolt carrier group here. So, could be the ammo. We're shooting Wolf ammo, which is known for its pretty beefy primer. Light primer strikes. What you want to look for is obviously the firing pin, making sure that the firing pin looks good, making sure that it's moving freely inside of the bolt carrier group, and then finally you want to look at your trigger spring. Make sure that your trigger spring is not worn, that it's not on backwards. Those two things are typically your first looks if you're suffering from light primer strikes. So here's a workflow to help you guys work through failure to fires. Screenshot it, stop here, take a picture of it. This will help you in the future. Overall, really fun gun to shoot. Questioning reliability right now if I'm going to be honest, but typically we haven't had an issue with this, so it could just have been we need a little maintenance here on the parts. It is very cold outside today, which could be impacting some of the functions here. We're gonna take it to the bench, we're gonna check it out. All right guys, so we're back at the bench, and remember, failure to fire is caused by one of three things. If you're looking at the flow chart, one, it's bad ammo, which could definitely be the case in this case because of the heavy primer setters on that Wolf ammo or that tall ammo. Number two, you need to look at your bolt carrier group. check your firing pin, make sure there's no obstructions with that firing pin. And then 3, you need to look at the spring for your hammer to make sure that it's giving enough oomph to that hammer to be able to engage the firing pin. Based on the fact that we were able to fire off 7 rounds in succession without a failure to fire, I'm not quite sure if it's the hammer spring, but we're gonna check it anyway. So let's take this apart and see what we got going on the inside. Looking right now first at the trigger. In here I can see the trigger is set up correctly. There is a lot of force and tension behind that hammer. It does not feel loose. It is definitely nothing going on with the spring here. Looking at the hammer itself, I don't see any deformations on the face here, even from the shooting that we did. I can pretty much eliminate this as a potential issue. First thing we want to look at is the head of our extractor. This looks good. I don't see anything here that would note any kind of wear. The extractor is tight. The ejector is tight. So this feels good. We'll do the stand-up test here real quick. Doesn't fall in on itself, so we know our gas rings on our bolt are good. So then what we're going to do here is we're just going to give it the shake test. And you can hear that firing pin moving pretty freely in here. So now when we close this, we can still hear it. So let's give the firing pin a little depression. Yeah, it's coming out of the rear of the bolt. Bolt's pretty dirty, we'll say that. We have a good amount of carbon buildup on this. It looks in good shape. I don't see any cracks where the cam pin would go. The lugs back here look fine. When it was shooting brass, back when brass was easy to get, it had no problem. But now with these surplus rounds or that Russian grade ammo, the Wolf, the Tull ammo, the Golden Bear, that kind of stuff, they have very hard primers, which can mess with your firing pin. So let's compare this to another firing pin, an unused firing pin. So the firing pin looks good. It looked a little to my eye like it may have been mushroomed, but looking at the other one, it looks like it's working fine. All right, so now that we've eliminated the trigger spring, the bolt carrier group, I want to look at one more thing. This is not a typical failure to fire thing that you look at, but I just wanted to take a look here at the feed ramps. Not anything going on in there. Yeah, it's a little dirty, I guess. It could use a little cleaning, but the feed ramps look good. The chamber looks good. Just a little maintenance. So knowing that chamber looks good, firing pin bolt carrier group looks good, and the trigger and hammer spring both look good, I'm going to chalk this up to 1 of 2 things. Number 1, better cleaning for me on my end, and 2, the ammo. So here's where I messed up. I should have had other ammo with me. I did not. I would have been able to test that immediately to see if different ammo would have changed the results. But based on what I'm seeing here, everything is leading me to cleaning and better ammo. That's what we're going to go with. Everything else looks great. So guys, I hope that video helped you out. If you haven't, check out some of the other videos. Check around the channel. We've got videos on all kinds of malfunctions, how to diagnose them, how to clear them, how to fix them. So make sure that you check that out. If there's something that I didn't touch on, or maybe something that's just not working for you, you can't quite figure it out, go ahead, drop me a line. There it is. And I will be sure to get back to you. Also, leave your comments below, and I'll get back to them as well. As always, guys, make sure that you're practicing safe weapons handling at all times and treating every weapon as if it was loaded. God bless America. G2 out.